something like that, that's possible. Will they go for 5 supports or something, some role swapping? I don't think that's gonna happen.
No.
But to me, it's like if they don't, that's basically them saying, we'll do it against the teams we know we're better than. And then when it's the close, like a VP or a secret, we're not going to do it. So definitely said something about why they did it if they don't do it here.
Yeah, that is fair. We're going to find out what their plan is. So far, we have Virtus.pro this time with the first pick, which means that Nigma has the overall last pick. If they do want to throw curveball, that is, of course, perfect.
Yeah.
They are, once again, on the dire side. And in terms of bans, the biggest difference is... Well, there's 3 actually big difference. We've got the Enchanters banned out by Nigma themselves. We, of course, see Solo played a lot. But we also have the Ancient Apparition and the Batrider first phase ban on the side of VP.
I think the Ancient Apparition is probably the most interesting one, for me at least. Timbersaw as well is still in the pool. A hero that's been really played by Virtus.pro quite a lot. So that's also something that we can look forward to.
Yeah, and often you want to pick that roaming forward when you have a Timbersaw, because Timbersaw can just take all the solo XP, control the lane, and then Shaker can go help out the mid or look for some gank opportunities. And, well, Nigma know this, they're going to block pick it. They're like, you're not going to get that Timber.
They snatched it away. Overall, Timbersaw has had a pretty good run in this tournament.
Yep.
High win rate, doing well.
Hasn't looked unbeatable, partly because it's being picked first, too. So normally teams address it.
Usually, I mean, there's multiple ways to address it. You counter him in the lane. You get a hero on that mid lane that can get a fast Vessel. Like, I've seen some players even take that Ember, go into the Vessel early on to deal with the Timber, right?
We saw a 5-position Razor against it.
Yeah, that one I'd rather forget.
Yeah.
I'd rather not go there. Ancient Apparition has been banned out. This hero has been historically just very good versus Timbersaw as well, but let's see what Virtus.pro goes for. One of the reasons why Timber is pretty good, there's so many strength heroes that are played right now. Like Shiver, I believe I heard you in the interview saying that you really like those Zints, not as much the strength heroes, but they're so prevalent at the moment.
You were spying on my interview.
I was.
Should be
These,
getting his insight
our earpieces basically are on the whole time, so, you know, even in between games, people can hear what we were saying. And I was doing an interview with someone, and yeah.
It's a bit awkward when Liz goes to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Don't need to hear that. You mic sometimes, Liz.
Hey, I found that button eventually. Eventually I muted.
Eventually.
All right, so we have a Lash picked up as well. I like it. It's a hero that can go anywhere, like any single position. It's really good with the Shaker. You have that setup stun. Can be played on the offlane as well. However, if it is the Lash offlane like they did, I believe, yesterday, please support him all the time in the laning stage. You can't abandon the Lash. Like you said about Timber. Timber can be left alone.
The opposite, kind of. Yeah.
Has Kuman played Leshrac for them so far? No, right? It is, or rather, it has only been Resolution, and it was not a good look. That being said, it was also against Secret, so maybe they make other people look bad just because they are that good. But yeah, I hope that he can. Well, he can do better than yesterday.
I always prefer the more magic-based heroes against Timber. I mean, yeah, Timber's going to go for the hood and have raindrops and things, but it ultimately gives you that kill threat against him that forces him to itemize against you, whereas if you're going physical damage course, he can itemize however he likes because he gets reactive armor to block your damage output.
Yeah, you have a lot of mixed damage coming from Lash as well, right? You have the Edict, you also have all your magical abilities, so it's a pretty decent pick versus Timber overall. I don't think it's enough. I think they need more in general just to deal with the Timber. And you just have to be thinking about your carry too. It can't be anything. Timber is one of those heroes that can really abuse some lanes. We have seen it picked by Nigma. I think it was Mind Control that played into a Wisp Tiny, or it was versus them. I might be wrong here, but that Timbersaw destroyed the lane. If you're playing versus 2 strength heroes, it's just very, very difficult to deal with.
Who do you prefer having the Timbersaw? Weehaw or Mind Control? Because they both play it. Like, is there anybody you'd favor for that? I know that they keep it open, and that's why it's a great pick, so they might not even know themselves.
Yeah, at this stage, I prefer Mind Control just because you don't want to just be planning to run a Timber mid, and the hero excels more in the side lanes.
Picked very early as well. I love that they value this Elder Titan so much. It's a hero that just blocks so many picks and just deals with so many heroes really well. It's another hero that GH loves to play, so... Also, obviously, they did play it mid, but that was the very special circumstances. That was versus the Meeple.
Why don't we see more people play Elder Titan?
It's not their style, I guess. Maybe they value other heroes more. There's like you can play the meta the way you want to, and this is how Nigma decided to, right? They just love the hero.
Disco Pony and his moves.
I think
Not
it's
as good move as Dro, but
no. ET, it's important to have a player who's familiar with the hero. It's a pretty high skill cap hero. It's not just like a support anyone can just pick up and play.
Oh, like this one. This is the opposite.
Every
there.
5 can just pick. You could have not played Bane for 6 months, and you can always play a Bane.
That's why whenever I see Bane, I think of Cinderin. It is true.
he has played a lot of Bane in
He did, really.
I was thinking of this guy, Solar. He's it's one of his most played heroes. He loves it.
This was like they instant picked Elder Titan and they instant picked Medusa. They have a good plan for this. We've seen Miracle be super good on this hero.
Yeah, these two heroes work pretty well together. They synergize really well. So it's a good Medusa pick, I think, already. Overall, it worked out before for them. They banned out the anti-mage.
But there's still a Phantom Lancer in the pool, and I kind of feel like they're baiting it out. Because Phantom Lancer is good against Timber, is good against Medusa. Like, all you need is a diffusal carrier, and you are good as a core in this game so far.
I have seen this matchup. I believe it was versus them that was played.
Against the Medusa?
Against them. They had the Medusa. They were playing versus a PL. Or they were playing against the Medusa. I'm not sure. I think they had the PL. They were playing versus Medusa, and they were losing hard. Not in this tournament. And then the PL bought Rapier. And just won the game afterwards, but...
the PL bought Rapier?
Yeah, the PL.
Normally the Medusa is the one
it was the PL ever since the changes to the Rapier. It became more viable on any hero.
I think the Medusa can hit this timing early on where you just snowball down lanes, and you don't feel good having a PL because you can't really commit to a fight, particularly because of the ET pick and what it does. It really protects the Medusa against those melee carries that can get on top of her. Slark has the benefit of Dark Pack, and because ET Stomp is telegraphed, you see it coming before it hits you, you should be able to always Dark Pack off the ET Stomp.
It's a great pick here. In the laning stage versus the Timber, it's one of those heroes that can do well against him because of the Essence Shift, right? Versus the Medusa later on as well. He can get on top of her, just feed off of her. That's pretty good.
Good against everything, theoretically.
Yeah, versus the Elder Titan, like you just mentioned. Yeah, versus every single hero here, he's fine. Has to be a bit careful in the laning stage. Can't be too aggressive because he can be punished by Timber until that level 6. Now it's on Nigma to answer this pick, I believe, their last pick. If they decide to put Medusa mid, they can also go for something crazy like a Bloodseeker. It's difficult versus Lash offlane, though.
Well, first we're going to see what Virtus.pro is going to pick. They need a mid hero, assuming Leshrac... Well, Leshrac could still be mid, but we're for now assuming Leshrac is going to be going for Rezo.
It could be your Viper, it could be your SF as well.
No, it cannot be SF.
SF is banned?
If you've got a Shaker in your team, so I always like seeing these mids with kill threat when you have Shaker roaming around, which is where SF would have been great, but maybe the Viper can still fit, like the Queen of Pain type mid. Lena could work.
Or Leshrac?
Or Lesh mid. Yeah, we go. Lesh Shaker. Yeah, Lesh mid with a Shaker. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
It's good. The Omni Knight is such an amazing pick with the Slark and the Leshrac as well. What it gives you is tempo. I like this. They completely... I mean, if Lesh was offlane, he also gives you tempo, but this is hardcore right now, because you have that Leshrac pushing in the mid-game, and then you have Omni Knight behind him, just Heavenly Grace, heal, Heavenly Grace, GA. It's pretty good. Is there something that they can answer this with? Is Razor still in the pool? If they pick Razor and just dominate Omni Knight...
Razor is in the pool.
Oh, and then run the Medusa mid.
Yeah.
Medusa versus Leshrac, is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I think that we haven't really seen Nigma do that player lane swap where Miracle goes mid on something like
We've seen them do lane swap.
Well,
what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Kuro.
I mean,
they
this
don't do the
Snapfire...
small lanes. If they go lane swaps, they go extreme.
Who is going to play Snapfire? Is it Mind Control? Is it Miracle? Is it Kuro? You know, we don't know.
They all play it.
They have all played it this tournament.
Yeah.
Look, pick Razor and put it on position 5.
No, please.
Was that done against them
That
in
was
this tournament?
aggressive mode. I
Aggressive
think.
mode,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
aggressive mode.
Nigma?
Yeah, when they were playing the techies as well.
They go with the Razor. It is like the most obvious pickup versus that Omni Knight.
Yeah.
Perhaps they can switch some things up because I hate when Omni Knight is underfarmed on that lane. But they do have the Shakers, so maybe Equilibrium games, play with the laning stage, play with the waves.
It's offlane, you know, it's not really a lane. You just go pull waves from behind the tower. You tell, maybe the Omni just tells his Shaker, get some boots first, go grab some waves, pull them behind the tower, and just mess with the waves. Because, yeah, none of these heroes want to really play against the Razor in lane, except the Lesh, who they know is going mid.
Well, we've credited Virtus.pro being a strong team in terms of laning stage. Is that going to be different this time around? You guys are talking about this draft like that Razor pick was kind of countering everything Virtus.pro was trying to do in the lane specifically.
I think they can still play aggressive in the lanes. The Shaker gives them that, so they're going to have these kill openings. Like last game, we saw them get up like 7 kills to nothing, despite the gold being kind of even. Should be a similar story, maybe. Well, I mean, that's what VP won, lots of kills. But some of those hero-to-hero matchups in lane with the Razor, maybe going to be a bit tough.
Nah, for Virtus.pro, this laning stages should be at least a lot more difficult. You're playing versus a Razor versus a Timbersaw. These are lane dominators. But if Nigma feeds a couple of kills early on, Virtus.pro can just roll all over them.
If they get a lead, they are forcing out that third game, you're saying?
I believe so, yes.
All right, well, let's find out if they can get a lead here in this game 2 of lower bracket finals. Let's head over to Cap and Kyle.
You know, Regret is a killer, and I'm sure Virtus.pro are going to be looking back at that game 1 with a lot of regret. But in a best of 3, you do have that second chance, and Virtus.pro, they just got to keep looking forward, Kyle.
Indeed, and I think if there's anyone who's got to forget that last game, it's got to be Kuman, right? A couple times just getting killed when he shouldn't, notably inside that base when it looked like VP were about to take the W. Now he's on the Slark. If you're going to win this game as VP, your Slark's going to be the top net worth at the end of the game, unless no one just goes absolutely off. He's got to have a good performance.
Yeah, and as a sort of stand-in for Virtus.pro at the start of this tournament, anyway, there was a lot of pressure on him to perform, to be able to perhaps cement himself on this roster going forward. And, well, that last game, unfortunate. But it seems Virtus.pro are committed to him, right? They set the Slark up with a lot of success, making that Omni Knight for him.
And I like it in concept as well. When you think about it, you're playing against the Deuce at ET, right? You want to have some sort of stopgap, right? Like just stop the damage for a little bit, look to turn things around. Your concern right now is VP. Look at this Nigma lineup, right? All 3 of these cores, incredibly durable. You have ET, who's just going to pop his spirit and run forwards, full aggression. You don't really have a natural frontliner. And that means just target selection in general is going to be difficult. And your supports, laning phase, high impact, sure. But what are you actually going to do once Medusa plants herself on your high ground and starts hitting the tower, right? You're not going to get a grip off at all if Stone Gaze is popped. And
so similar to game 1, they have to be, Virtus.pro needs to be operating with a net worth lead.
Yeah. And they need to, once again, try and avoid those huge 5-on-5 engagements. You look at Nigma's lineup, right? Do you see any stuns? Like point and click. You got a cookie, you got a stomp. You'll have Yols picked up on, I'm sure, Razor, but there's no real catch.
Gaze, right. There's no easy, like, I'm stunning this guy 100% right now.
Yep. VP, though, Bane, Shaker, Lesh, even Slark with his own form of independent lockdown. This draft wants to find skirmishes, not big engagements, and you're going to have to play away from MC's Timber as well.
Do you think that means that Virtus.pro's lineup is has that ease of execution to it?
It's definitely more cut and dry. I think their path to victory is certainly clearer.
Yeah.
But I think similar to that last game where, Nigma won, but they were behind in kills, it's the same scenario here where you should expect them to die more often in the early game, even into the mid game. But things start to turn around once Miracle picks up that second or third item. It is Razor, it is Miracle on the Medusa playing up in the safe lane, which is quite nice under the circumstances because you do have that Omni you can constantly spam Snake on.
Well, we're going to see how our lane's going to be breaking down. It looks like everything's going to... Okay. Kyle.
How much damage does that level 1 Q do on Timber? It's like
it does a lot more when you're around trees.
Oh, it's per tree.
Yeah.
I don't
So,
think Kuman realized that he was standing in the middle of the jungle there.
Yeah, you know that little ditty that you like to go on about? Don't go up to the high ground
Yeah.
with no vision. I feel like there's a...
Don't wander through the woods.
Second catalog, don't fight a timber saw in the middle of the trees.
Yeah, it's
well,
pure damage too.
Yeah.
And with the stat loss, it's not even relevant really. He just died.
Yep.
And that's not how you want things to start for Kuman. And you would have liked to see him get confidence to begin things off. And this is where, you know, I've had a discussion with Gods where he says, yo, Slark's good against the Timbersaw. You know, you're good against him in lane. I just disagree wholeheartedly, especially when you consider later on in the game, how does Slark ever really threaten Timber? This isn't a Silver Edge buyer anymore.
It is. I think that matchup is entirely about the supports, right? If you have a enabling 4 position, then that matchup is not that bad at all. And then eventually you're going to get Chakram in the Magic, you know, like all of a sudden you're actually a real threat to the Slark. Sure, if you're just like some solo Timbersaw up against a strong 5 position and you're just like constantly being right-clicked, Miracle. Speaking of right-clicks, he could be in trouble here. Fisher Block is going to come out, Resolution, trying to get in front of him here, has him slowed down and won't be able to kill him. But if that had been a full Fisher Block, then they could have had a small chance there. Zion actually may be dying here as GH. Well, he's going to be slowed down a little bit by Resolution's aura. Not going to be able to get the kill, though.
Yeah, it's the thing about the Zayak Shaker this game, and again, think about the warding from yesterday with Secret, look now with Nigma. That high ground ward above Wii to remove the ability of Zayak to play this mid lane like he wants to. It's a Leshrac, it's a Shaker, you brought it up. You can kill this Weeha mid very easily, not gonna happen. You know he's gonna play topside. As long as no rotations can come from that area, you can play aggressively like a Razor is ought to do in this mid lane.
Do you think Nigma put more priority in the laning phase, seeing how game 1 went?
It feels that way. I think it was more just they got the Timber, they got the Snapfire, and from there, you know, we don't know who the hell's playing any of these heroes based on the record of the squad throughout the tournament. So you don't really know anything as VP, and you give away a bunch in your draft, revealing both the support duo and the Leshrac in the first 3.
So having that hidden information means that just inherently Nigma was going to be set up with some pretty favorable lanes. And they did have, right now you could see it, top 3 CS on the board is all Nigma.
Indeed, and a big part of that, I think no one's build. Traditionally, against Razor, I think you want a couple points in Lightning so you can spam out, but this means he will have kill potential, specifically when it comes to rune contest. But again, he wants to be able to play with Zayak. A Fisher block, and Leshrac can just man up. Without it, very difficult to find or kill yourself in Miracle. In a little bit of trouble, he'll leave a tree, just fine. Not really going to be able to kill him off here with Shaker Omni Knight unless he were to make a grievous misstep.
Yeah, it would have to be a full Fisher block and probably 2 different purifications. And even then, it probably still wouldn't be enough damage. 2,000 net worth lead already.
Yeah.
It's 4 minutes in. Last time around, VP struggled for like 20 minutes to get this kind of lead.
This is not looking good thus far. And GH, you know, the thing about this Elder Titan, it's not just great in the late game. This hero hits so hard in the early game as well. He's just straight up trading with 2 heroes as his Deuce of free farms to his heart's content. Like, look at this disparity. Miracle equal in denies to the CS of Resolution in a full 2-on-2. You did not expect this.
Yeah, GH, he's just down to distract Resolution as much as possible. Pull him away from the creep wave. He only is 9-3. That's pretty rough. Regen rune for Weeha. Well, there's a full lane reset for you.
I like the casual bracer instead of the double Wraith Band. It's quite nice. You want that little bit of magic resist. And Rezo gets his salve canceled. Now out of health and mana. Just 1 mango left. And this is the danger. Miracles can just... His mangoes are so much more valued because you get a snake and then you steal mana, as we're about to see right now.
Yeah, that hit is
Bye,
actually
Rezo.
going to kill Rezo as the purification wasn't up yet. A Medusa killing an Omni Knight. That's not supposed to happen.
It's 3k gold, 5 minutes in cap. It just feels like Nigma sort of have their opponent up against the ropes here, and unfortunately for VP, once again, their draft is going to be the one that's going to have to play with tempo and aggression. They needed to win lanes. They need to kill towers early, and it's tough to do in this spot. Got to look for Zayak and Solo to make some hero rotations as we approach the mid game. It is first night.
You know, I feel like they maybe should have already made those rotations because They could have helped
bottom as
win
an
bottom
example.
lane right away, right?
Yep.
Like there's so many times where I see a Timbersaw, and what many teams do is they start off with a tri-lane.
Yep, and that's something you look at Rezo, he's still a little inexperienced in the off lane. Other squads, it's an ET Deuce at top. There's no kill threat.
Yeah.
Leave Rezo on an island. He'll pull creeps, he'll run around in circles, no problem. It's not like Timber level 1 against 2 stuns and a Slark, he's gonna die, but now it's way too late. He's level 4, and there's really nowhere for Zayak to go now, and that's the problem. He wanted to play mid, that ward is there, now they've replaced one in the mid wave to provide high ground vision, and they just scouted out, yeah, Zayak, you just placed a ward, we've had one up there for the entire game. Just literally reading them like a book, and I don't really see what you do as a Shaker at this point. You're level 2, and you simply can't play or find kills in any of these lanes.
Yeah, it's certainly not a suspenseful novel that we're reading right now. It feels like, well, okay, this could help. These rotations, Weeha's far enough ahead, and in fact, they're going to be able to land the cookie on a solo here. The Fisher comes out, stalling the damage out from Weeha. The Nightmare did not allow the Split Earth to land, and this is just dysfunction after dysfunction from Virtus.pro.
It's still, again, it's the lack of vision control. We saw it burn VP in the first game, and already at just 7 minutes in, they're consistently getting outplayed simply because Nigma have these wards down and they see exactly where they're going.
Well, Weeha already won his lane, but
look,
yeah.
Another effect of the GH Spirit, right? Not only is he winning top, Miracle top net worth and CS, but he somehow has the time to also quad stack these camps. But again, it's because he's timing his Spirit to get the damage to go harass top while stacking. Super efficient, and we says, thank you very much, take mid lane, that's your reward.
This 3K gold lead's going to turn into a lot more unless Virtus.pro can do something to stall this.
And another thing to note, when does he start clearing stacks? That's right, when the tier 1 neutral items start to spawn. So we'll see Nigma probably have 3 or 4 within a minute or two. VP, no one's in the jungle. No one's even got a shot at getting one of those RNG drops.
Well, no one is in the jungle, and he's trying to find Weeha there. But he's already discovering that those stacks have been taken. And he's a little bit too late to the party here to be able to catch Weeha with his pants down. Maybe he can steal this small little stack, but it's not much to write home about. No items either, because the Razor was close, so they couldn't spawn.
It's 3 neutral items, like it's 3 items to 0, right? Think about 6 Wraith Bands now in the pockets of Nigma. Yeah, you have the Iron Talisman, they do have the 1, but that is unfortunately not applicable to dealing hero damage for our poor Slark.
I mean, it looks like the Slark needs it, because now we're at the point where the Timbersaw is really going to start turning that matchup against you. Now that he's got the Chakram, he's got this big AoE damage that always threatens you. So he needs that Iron Talon, because half the time he's going to be jungling.
That's my problem with Slark versus Timber, because as soon as Timber's 6, you just threaten. And that's my issue here. You want something that could at least make it difficult for Nigma to make this move, but really, keep throwing heroes down here. This is not going to end well for you. These heroes are so durable, they're ahead of you. You cannot kill Timber nor Medusa.
Oh, okay, there's going to be a Fisher here. Perhaps our first kill for Virtus.pro. They've got Kuro stuck inside the trees, but Mind Control comes in, a huge amount of burst damage, and he actually managed to already kill the Omni Knight. Now they're going to turn onto Kuman. Kuman could not go for that support anymore. Zion's going to be caught by the Chakram. He's dead as well. Hey, they did manage to kill Weeha.
Yeah, it looks like they got a sleep setup into the Leshrac combination. Either that or he just baited him in, but that's a 2 for 2. GH died as well. I think that was mid lane. That was a weird sequence of events, but I think they get the tower off of it. No.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, go figure. 10 minutes spawning, however, so we're going to have, it looks like, a typical split. Top outpost, top runes will go Radiant. The bottom, of course, going towards Dire. But this is the dream now, because Miracle suddenly can position himself inside the enemy jungle, farm this bottom wave, play around his Ancient camp, and you just plant Mind Control in this top tower. With Grip, maybe you can find that kill, but you need Lesh in range.
You are going to need a lot of damage here to be able to bring down this Timbersaw. Unfortunately, no one is delivering right now. They're going to be able to get a killing spree onto him, turn this into a tower push, and a canceled TP for Nigma.
Good job there by Solo. He recognizes, look, we need to get some towers, and I am the only guy that can actually set up a kill on this Timber, and they find MC just a few seconds away from safety as a couple of his allies, notably GH, were rotating top to stand behind him, just not there yet.
Meanwhile, to give Zaitz the space to get some farm mid lane, because they're certainly going to need a Blink Dagger initiation for this game.
Yeah. You're going to need an insane game from no one at this point. We're going to watch this sequence of events. Yeah, this is the thing about the Leshrac early on, right? You can see the damage output. He's just running circles around them, popping out. Unbelievable DPS. Solo was just kind of there to distract.
Yeah, an ideal situation there. You get a haste rune and you're fighting the enemy in the jungle area where there's no creeps. So that Diabolic Edict is going to do its full amount of damage.
Yeah, but it's the thing about Nigma. You got our top tower. That's the one that they're always going to leave you. It's this mid tower that VP want to take out quick. At least quicker than they did last game. It took them, I think, almost 18, 19 minutes before they were able to finally get it down. And that was when they were ahead. Now you're a bit behind. And you can see Kuro is in position. They are not going to let this go without a fight. Miracle pops over. They get the glyph off as well to track the Edict damage.
You certainly do have a lot of tower defense. The Spirit goes out, threatening a stomp. They've got Snapfire ultimate ready to go. Then there's the Medusa standing on the front lines. Right now, she's, not that untouchable status, but she is still a hard target to bring down, especially with that Stone Gaze.
Yeah, the issue is that Medusa, as your hard carry, can provide a lot for you. You farm the jungle very quickly, especially when there's stacks, and you can camp on a tower and defend it. Slark, at this point in the game, especially behind, is worthless. Like, I'm sorry, this hero is completely worthless unless you catch somebody like running up a high ground into you all by himself at half HP. You're not really looking to link mid. It's just catch up for you. But the problem is that every minute that goes by where you're not pressuring the Medusa, she's out farming you by 100, 200, 300 GPM even with all these stacks.
They're going to smoke up, knowing that time is of the essence, as you said. Got to pressure in Medusa. One way to do that. It's also taking these towers. A ward behind the tower actually gets spotted by a preemptive Sentry. And as a result, look at GH. He's actually taking some of the Diabolic Edict here, trying to help that tower. But in the end, this smoke rotation, it is a failure for VP.
And you feel the way this game's simple for them, right? Timber is top, we is bottom. 3 heroes, camp mid. This is because Miracle wants to be able to play both sides of the jungle and defend his tier 1. In the event VP look to overcommit and get frisky middle, then both of the Nigma side lane cores will just start to collapse and or TP, and you're forced into a 5-on-5. The lack of stuns isn't going to punish this dire lineup because it's VP that need to get aggressive and clear this objective, take a fight.
Yeah, we could still say that it's kind of similar to Nigma's setup from last game, where because there is a lot of really good team fight on VP, like one mistake from Nigma, and they could just swing this network back in their favor. No one needs a little help here. He does manage to get the tower, but can he get out for it? It looks like he will. Solo instead is going to be the victim of the Stone Gaze. Now pushing forward, GH just hopes to get another hero. Nigma off of that pickoff may try and pressure this mid tower. We'll see what VP do in response.
Poor Solo. He tries to get some spells off and falls victim to the Stone Gaze. There's really just nothing you can do, and now Tank here is pushing lane.
Yule Scepter, Mist Fissure as a result, and no one is going to be able to get some damage onto Mind Control. They need to threaten this Timbersaw so they can't just assault this mid tower, and they are actually going to be able to bring in Solo, but it's going to be this Leshrac in trouble. If no one dies here, he's going to lose all his damage, and he does. Mind Control's able to finish him off, survives through the assault. 2 dead, and Weehawd looks for a third in Solo into the back line. So, okay, a little bit screwed up there. He could have had the kill. Now has to chase it down again. Will manage to find it.
Yeah, and Slark's contribution to that engagement was killing an archer and half HP of the creep wave. He still can't actually enter the fray because of all the spread damage that can come out from these Nigma heroes. You can't do really anything. Well, I guess a courier helps, and you'll cut a wave with this haste rune. But, yeah, this is unfortunately not really the best for your squad.
Well, he pokes the curl a little bit, but definitely seems like the House of Pain single there. Just jump around.
Yeah. I don't know, no one. He's very ambitious.
Yeah.
You're 3 levels behind,
I mean,
sir.
you know he doesn't have Stone Gaze, but he can just kill you by turning on you. Resolution is going to try and pop him with the heal, but it's not there in time, or it's not enough damage either. And now Virtus.pro on the run, because every single time they lose their Leshrac, there's just no damage left in the tank.
Yeah, the thing is, they just don't... You know, the thing about damage, we talk a lot about how much DPS can a team or a hero deal, but it's also about how much can you withstand.
Yeah.
And the difference here is that let's pretend that the damage output is equal. Nigma have 3 times the EHP if you look at their cores. Consider how much armor the Timber's playing with, the health regen, the mana shield on Miracle. You know, there's just not really much you can do here as VP when you're this far behind. Your Slark is still not able to actually enter team fights. He's 4K almost behind the Dusa. And honestly, this one feels more one-sided than when VP actually GG'd out last game. And we're just 16 minutes in, and they were just marching to the top lane. We don't need stuns. We're 5 heroes. Come fight us, guys, or lose your round.
Well, Kuman is going to start off getting a little damage onto Weehaw. Static Link is broken, so they can play a little bit more aggressively here, especially with the Fiend's Grip. The Stone Gaze is going to make sure it breaks at some point in time. Mind Control will be able to escape, and no one was stuck between the shop and a Fisher. He gets brought down. Now the damage is gone from Virtus.pro. Kuman's going to try and come back in. You can see he's poking at a Medusa. Will be able to burn some for mana, yes, but no real threat whatsoever. Nigma just keep marching forward. Mind Control even still looking for that kill on the Slark, while Resolution has problems of his own. Weehaw tries to threaten him. Actually, now turn around with a Fisher. Okay, activates his BKB. That's going to be a charged use. Maybe getting the kill on Zayas in return. It will. Mega kill streak for Weehaw. Nigma win the fight and take a tier 1, possibly tier 2.
The itemization, man. Like, you already have a pipe on MC. He just straight up rushed it with the Soul Ring. Leshrac, no one's first 4 ticks of ultimate are useless, plus the entire draft's going to take 10% less magic damage. There really isn't any physical to speak of on VP.
Tell me they get this pick off, because it's been a grim story for VP so far. They needed something like that. They needed a little light at the end of a tunnel. And Mind Control, well, he was a shining beacon there.
Yep. And you can see, like, but very aware, they're not going to be in a scenario where they're getting, 3-man Fishered and Echoed. The moment that grip pops, you know where the Bane's facing, so Miracle pops his ulti.
Look at that. They're just catch anybody at this point in time, and they may have just caught Weehaw with his BKB down. Fortunately, a stomp from GH will cover his tracks.
Like a Miracle's just not even looking to do anything here. There's no towers over there, guys. I just want to keep farming. I've got my Manta. Oh my god, second item Rapier. Let's go.
Well,
is he going to do it? He has an Essence Ring.
You know, they would be. I mean, she just looks so unstoppable, but there is still a lot of team fight on VP. Like,
well,
you lose one attempt at going high ground.
But at the same time, like, a Slark with the Rapier actually really isn't even that scary right now if you were to die. But I would agree. The thing about it is, because it gives True Strike now in so much damage, if you consider that the fact that, you're really just not killing Miracle right now unless he would get caught out completely alone. In theory, he just goes and stands on the high ground and kills a building in 10 hits as Timber dives to make space.
Yeah, looks like
he's just going to do it, apparently.
Young lad's going to go for it. Well, I'm about it, because it will certainly make this game interesting as, well, it's going to end quickly one way or another.
I'm telling you this, I think if no changes by TI time, I could see this becoming mainstream.
For sure.
Because True Strike's just too good, and if you can, it is the most cost efficient, like, damage per gold item in Dota as well.
Yeah.
Obviously it drops on death, but, in a perfect world, you're not dying, right?
Is there any way you can be, like, almost too far away that you could just as easily pick up a safe option, still end the game? Oh, what a cookie into a combo there from Kuro. You could tell he's been brushing up on his cooking recipes.
There's going to be a blink on the Shaker soon. They desperately need that on VP. Zayak is really their only hope at this point. He's the man that's going to be responsible for turning this one around.
God, he can't afford to die here. He's so close to the Blink Dagger, but they know he's somewhere around here. Fortunately, he was able to just hide away, sneaking on out.
And Kuman has that defusal, but still, no real game impact whatsoever.
Ah, yes. That Roshan kill will give him his Divine Rapier.
And the Aegis. And you talk about looking to get things done quick, right? This is how you do it. And you get this Aegis, you are most likely going to just walk up a high ground.
Yeah.
Especially with the Rapier.
Virtus.pro, I feel like there was already a situation where they had to get a little creative with the game. But now even more so, where they can't even think about approaching a team fight.
It just feels like from a strategic development standpoint, they've been focusing too much on individual hero matchups and not how these team concepts are actually going to play out against each other. Because you just don't have the ability to fight in the mid game. You cannot make real moves And you can see the crowd go nuts.
Yeah.
They got something, a courier, baby. Maybe that's what it takes to get VP
So
back
you're
into this.
saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
An 8,000 net worth lead for Nigma right now. It's 14-4 at 20 minutes in. A big lead, but one item can be dropped on the ground, and all things
It's picked
change.
up. It's picked up, Cap. Miracle's got it, and he's going to walk straight down bottom. Weehaw collects the free kill on the Shaker. No Blink Dagger for this engagement for Zayak unless he finds time after that respawn. Oh, he purchased it just before he died. Oof, that would have been very bad. So
Okay, so they have that. I don't know how they take a team fight, though, because they can't jump Miracle for obvious reasons. He's got an Aegis. You can't really jump the people around Miracle because he outputs too much damage.
And you gotta, I think, just do something quirky here, like, I don't know, blade mail spam or something. No one cannot afford to buy bots. An item that provides no damage or HP as the enemy is literally walking at your base. To look at this game right now, Nick.
Give this up some. I legit think they just might have
They'll
to
get
split
thrown.
push.
They'll just literally kill the racks and go hit tier 3s, or tier 4s rather.
Well, the tier 3's
Solo?
dropping in a hurry. Solo tries to slow it down by nightmaring him, giving up his life for what, a second? Maybe 2 of being able to prevent damage. And you said it, Kyle, they're going to go straight for the throne. That's exactly what Nigma's going to do here. They're already hitting tier 4s. They're saying, come back here, Virtus.pro. You have to fight us sometime. Now as the rest of the team is showing up, Nigma, they actually back up a little bit on the side, though. Resolution's in trouble. It doesn't need the damage of the Divine Rapier. Just a Timber Saw can bring that Omni down pretty fast.
And it's great, too. This is a better spot to fight than on top of a Rax, right? You look at all the space that Nigma can play with. How do you get through these 2 cores?
Okay, there's a Fiend's Grip on the Medusa. They don't have a way to be able to stop this. The Echo Slam goes out, but not quite enough to be able to kill Weehaw. A little bit more damage from Kuman. Possibly Weehaw limps away on just 10 HP. Meanwhile, Miracle has 1,000 health and 500 mana, but that Divine Rapier is enough to be able to force Virtus.pro back. Weehaw is going to be able to reset. They couldn't get a critical kill there. Unless maybe mind control, he's a little bit low. Science tries to jump forward, unable to do so. Kuman, he just starts stealing a little bit of stats, bit by bit. He's got to play this a very long, drawn-out team fight. He can never fight directly. He's going to be able to pounce onto mind control here, locking down that Timber Saw, but he needs to be able to back away. They managed to get a nice stomp onto 2. A Fisher comes out, Miracle low on mana, but Kuman's trapped and cut down by Timber Saw. Miracle, with a monster kill streak, pushes forward once again. Pretty much no mana left in the bank, but he still has that second life. Virtus.pro, they just say, we can't do it. We can't do it without Kuman. Nigma are too damn good.
Final score,
victory.
20-4. Nigma absolutely smoked them there, and I don't really think there was a damn thing VP could do about it.
Yeah.
The moment that Aegis is picked up and the Rapier is the item of choice, that's just game.